that was actually the surprising bit. The top line beat was, I mean, you expected to beat, if anything, on the top line. I mean, we in our household have spent much more on Amazon in the last few months, as has a lot of other households. It's the bottom line beat that was surprising because they kept their costs sort of, I guess, in line, or they managed their costs in such a way that it didn't affect them too much, despite what they have to spend on COVID. So I think that was interesting. The AWS miss is also surprising. I kind of wonder. And I think Stephanie pointed this out earlier, if just we're seeing more competition in that space where, we had the big three sort of dominating, and then I think they're stealing share away from each other a little bit, and or just, they're finding other ways that businesses are finding other ways into cloud. So I think that's something I want to get more color on. And, the advertising is also chugging along, which is nice for Amazon. Again, a newer business for them.
Lee, what are you looking out for the Apple numbers?
Well, of course, we want to get whatever kind of guidance they want to give us. I know they're probably unlikely to do that. But I do think, that plus, again, the services, right? This is something I always look at. That's the narrative Apple has been pushing for the past year or so, 2 years, 3 years at this rate. But it is becoming more material. I think it is becoming a more important part of their business. It's been the most consistent. And, again, under lockdown, under COVID, under stay at home, I mean, just curious to see how much better that might have done for them. And then how's their supply chain holding up for the new iPhone to come out? If there's any color there, that's going to be a key to understanding, again, their biggest and most important business. A lot of uncertainty going forward. I mean, the other context I wanted to add, just in terms of these numbers, I mean, this is just coming a day off their big hearing, their marathon-long hearing at the House Judiciary Committee, where they're basically talking about how, look, we face competition and, it's a healthy marketplace and we're not as big as you think we are. But then they have these blowout quarters where they beat expectations across every single sort of aspect of their business. And that's a hard thing to sort of argue against now. And I think, the 4-for-1 stock split at Apple, where they characterize it as, a more accessible stock, for one thing. If you look at Amazon's earnings release, they've got page after page after page of what they're doing for their employees. And Facebook's talking about their small and medium businesses, how they've benefited on Facebook. These are all true things. But I do think there's definitely they're trying to characterize their great quarter in a way that's like, hey, look, we're trying to do good for the world as well as make money, as well as grow. And we're still facing competition. Of course, China is going to be an aspect of all of these things. But that is the bigger context here. And I think as they talk about, what expectations, what kind of forecasts, in as much as they want to go in there, I think they're going to temper it for sure. But that doesn't necessarily mean that, it's going to meet, it'll probably more likely exceed whatever they want to hint at for the current and coming quarters.